Hi, I'm Blisy.
Hey, if you enjoy the video, consider clicking like, subscribe, bell notification, and the join button. Becoming a channel member is only $4.99 a month. It really helps me out, and you get a bunch of perks like these badges for how long you've been a member for. You get these emojis for my live stream chats, and you get access to my videos when I upload them instead of when I release them. So thanks so much, and enjoy the video.
Hey everyone, today I'm going to be teaching you about the unfortunate art of Gen 6 RNG abuse. Before this gets started, I just want to say this is extremely time consuming, and I actually just don't really think it's like important to learn it all. There's not really much to do with Gen 6 RNG. It's just kind of something you do, like if you really want to do it, or if there's a Pokemon you specifically want in this. With that out of the way, it's still pretty limited, but there are a lot of legendaries you could catch with this method if you want to make them shiny or get specific stats on them. And so right now I'll go over the prereqs. So if you look at the screen, you're going to need 2 instances of 3DS RNG Tool open, and you're going to open one of them. You're going to click Tools, click Gen 6 Main Seed Finder. This is what you're gonna be using. The reason you need 2 instances open and is basically because you can't access the main window while Gen 6 Main Seed Finder is open for some reason. So you use this one for the main window. And out of game, you'll also need Flowtimer, and you're going to do the variable offset section. So those are the oh, and you also, it's very important you have a stat calc. Metal Kid's IV calc, by far my favorite. It's something that you're going to want to set up like multiple levels for or whatever. I would set it to whatever your Pokemon you're using, so I'll come back to this in a moment. Okay, so in game, you're going to need to be saved in front of this fossil guy here. It's like hello. So you're also going to need oops, not in the bag. You're going to need to have several fossils with you. At least 2. I recommend 3. You're gonna need at least 2 fossils, and this is how you find your seed, basically. You're also gonna need lots of rare candies. I recommend anywhere from 45 to 50. You're gonna need a lot of them. This is because you need to find out both of your fossils' exact IVs, like 100% exact IVs. Again, it's how you find the initial seed. So, not much you can do about that. And I also recommend having Master Ball in order to get your legendary that you're aiming for quickly. The last thing I recommend, this is not necessary, this last thing, however, I'll show you why it's very important. I recommend having the Shiny Charm. The reason I recommend having the Shiny Charm is, so let's just take a look in 3DS RNG Tool here for a second. So we'll go for a Hoenn legendary Regirock, right? Let's say we want this shiny. Do shiny only, right? This is the way it works. If you have the shiny charm, you get 3 attempts per shiny, right? If you don't have the shiny charm, the shiny window is always 100% of the time it's a 1-frame window. However, with the shiny charm, you can make it a 2 or 3 window sometimes, and that's another thing to explain right now. In this game, frames advance at 60 per second, and you can only hit even or odd frames. So if my initial seed turns out to be an odd frame, I'll never hit 1536, but I will hit 1535 and 1537. So it's effectively a 2-frame window here. But if I'm aiming for this one, then the 22999 is still a 1-frame window, where the evens I will never be able to hit. So that's how it works. In terms of hitting your actual frame, and these are all of the requirements. Like I said, you don't need the shiny charm, but it makes it much easier, and this is an extremely tedious process, so if you want any way to speed it up to any degree, I would recommend get it. Like all the pre-work of the shiny charm, if you're going for shinies, it makes it faster. If you're not going for shinies, honestly, you don't need the shiny charm, because you look at things. Uncheck shiny charm. Actually, it does. It triples all of the frames, doesn't it? Huh? It might make things a bit easier. It might help. It might not. But you'll still get clumps like this when it's not shiny. So you don't need it if you're not going for a shiny. So that's totally up to you. And we'll cut to the seed finding part. Okay, so for the initial seed finding process, what you have to do is receive both Archons. You're going to want to start your Flowtimer at the same time as you pick your save file, not at the title screen. Then you're just going to mash A to receive both. I'm using Archon, but you may use whichever fossil is best for you, whichever one you can get two of. You don't even need to use the same fossil. Anyway, I find that the first fossil I receive at around 12 to 13 seconds, towards the tail end of 12. And the second fossil, if you mash your button fast enough, you can usually get around 27 to 28 seconds received at. This is an important thing to note. It's important to remember. That's why I have Flowtimer open. The only thing you need to document is when you receive your fossils. You don't need to move out of this building. I forgot that I emptied my party out, and my Archons didn't go to my PC at all. So I thought they went to the computer, but they didn't. At this point, what you're going to want to do is figure out the exact IVs of both fossils you received. So both of these, you need to get the exact 100% IV of them. So open up your stat calculator. Like I said, I recommend Metal Kids. And you just want to go to town at this point figuring out their IVs. And I will cut back once I figured that out. But it's pretty simple. You just enter them, the stats at every level for both Pokemon that you received, and you move along from there. Okay, so once you figured out the individual values of each Pokemon, it only took me to level like 25 to 30 to get their exact IVs. You're going to just want to double check which frame you received them at, roughly, which is why I'm checking the seconds here. You click Stationary RNG Fossils, and you uncheck Consider Delay. Very, very important. So like I said, my second guy, I received around 28 to 30 seconds. So I was just checking what frame 30 seconds was at, so around the 1800s, which is important to keep in mind. So then what you're going to do is open up the Gen 6 main seed finder and click by info of 2 wild Pokemon. You're then going to type in the exact IVs of all of the of both Pokemon. That's why you need the exact IVs of 2 of them. So you're going to do it again for the bottom one. The first section is the first Pokemon. The bottom section is the second Pokemon. Then you have to input the frame range you received them at. This is why you used Flowtimer at the beginning, is to just pay attention to what seconds you received them at, and then figure out what frame that was. And if you mashed appropriately, you can probably match it up to mine here, but that's up to you. So I personally, and I'm just double check your IVs here, because this takes 4 hours, okay? So I'm going to set the encounter starting at 0, and I'm going to increase it to 1,000 here. And then the bottom one, you can do 1,000 to 5,000, and you can go. There'll be an error, but it's fine. And you wait 4 hours to find your initial seed, so I'll see you then. So after the 4 hours, you should only have one initial seed, which is great. Once you have it, you're going to click by info of wild Pokemon, and now you have to find your seed again, because you have to reset your game to get your next seed. You should set the encounter frame range to around the frame range of your first Pokemon from last time. You're going to paste your initial seed in the first section of the seed range box. Then you're going to paste it in the second half, and you're just going to increase the first one by 1. So as you can see, I had a 1 there. I increased it to 2 at the first digit of the seeds. Now you're going to reset your game. You're going to open up your Flowtimer again. And you're going to do the same exact thing we did for the first initial seed. Now here's the positive. We still need to receive 2 Archons. That's important. We don't need to figure out the exact IVs of both Archons. So start your timer here again. There we go. And what we need to do now is get both Archons and receive one and figure out... You don't need to figure out the exact IVs of the first Archon, but it can help. Again, trying to keep your timing consistent, so you'll receive this Archon around the same time as you did the first one. So if you notice, I received my first Archon around frame 713 last time. If you mash the same rate, keep it consistent, you'll actually receive it not at the same frame, but very close to it, if you ask me. So once you receive both of them, you're going to use your rare candies to figure out not the exact IVs, but within it's got to be within 2 IVs of it. So that's why it says upper and lower. So this is the Archon, we're figuring it out, and we also have to take its nature down. So open up your stat calc and try and figure out its IVs as much as you can. Now, the nice part about this is while you're doing that, you don't need to figure out the second Archon's IVs. All you need to know is its stats. So this is similar to last time. However, this process will only take 15-ish minutes. So it's important to take its nature down and just do the stat calcs like you did last time. So once you've got the IV range down, you put the higher ones in upper and the lower IVs in lower. I figured them out exactly. All figuring them out exactly does is speed up the process a bit. You're going to also want to put in its nature, so it's impish, and just type the stats out. Like I said, making them exact makes this finding process a little bit faster. This takes probably around 15 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, a little bit less depending on your luck, etc. like that. I'm just copy pasting them. Once you're done, hit search. You'll get an error. It's fine. Just click through them and check back once you've got all your seeds popped out. So what you're going to want to do at this point, while the initial seed is being found, is type the stats of the second Archon you have into the other 3DS RNG tool. Click Using Stats and type all of its stats into that box. Then, as initial seeds pop up that are within your frame range of around 700, just paste them into the second 3DS RNG tool seed box and hit Calculate until you find an Archon with that stat range, gender matching, nature matching, time matching, etc. And make sure to keep Consider Delay unchecked. Keep that unchecked for the Archons. Once that's done, once you've found your seed again, that should have only taken 10 to 15 minutes like tops. It does not take that long. Copy and paste the initial seed, that was the correct one, and save it into a text document somewhere. Very, very, very important to do that. Now, at this point, you're going to do the same exact process you just did over again, except you're only going to do it with one Archon, and it's going to be much, much faster. So go to By Info of a Wild Pokemon, paste your previous initial seed, paste it again, increase the first value by 1 to make the search seed range bigger, and then type in your encounter frame range. And you can narrow the encounter frame range down even more. I end up narrowing it down between 600 and 800, so the search is very minimal. But start Flowtimer here, and this is your actual attempt time. We're going to do an actual attempt here. So start your Flowtimer, receive your Archon as soon as you can. And I was a little late there, so I received it a little later than usual. But that's fine. Once you received it, go check the Archon and figure out your IVs. So you're going to do the same exact thing with the stat calc again, baby. But you don't receive the second Archon this time, and you leave Flowtimer running, okay? Leave it running. Because once we figure out where we're at, we're going to be able to use this for an attempt. Okay, so once you've figured out within, 3 IVs or so, type in the upper and lower IVs along with the nature that you received, and click search. Now, since you should have done this attempt exactly, like immediately after your previous attempt, it'll just be the first seed that pops up pretty much every time. All you want to do is make sure it's in your normal seed range. So I'll hit search here, continue, and the seed should pop up pretty quickly. So there we go, I found a seed. That's probably the one that I hit. I'm going to paste it there, and then we're going to go for we're going to search for a specific Pokemon. But you're also going to check to make sure it's the right one. So what I like to do is I like to check to make sure because this doesn't show gender, I like to check to make sure the gender matches. Now with the fossils, they're mostly going to be male, so there's a chance that it will, but if you have a female, it's pretty handy. Now there's another thing to note here. The fossil frame will always be 60 or 62 frames after the one that you aimed for. So when you're looking in here in the fossils, look 60 frames later, okay? And it might be 62. It really, sometimes it changed very minimally for me, but it should be pretty much exactly that. So once you found your seed and you're confident of that, check your timer. See how far along you are. It counts in seconds, and you can do a search for a Lando spread on this seed. So I have 300-ish seconds, so check how many minutes you're in, because the program uses minutes, unfortunately. So I'm around 5 minutes in, so I'm going to aim for a spread 7 minutes in, which is pretty cool. So what you're going to do now is take this, find which spread you're trying to hit, right click it and set it as target frame, and type your frame in here. So after you type your frame in, you're just going to hit the submit button on Flowtimer. You can just type the exact frame in from the program. It's fine. Then you're going to just try and fly to the legend as fast as you can, wherever it's at. Now, at this point, that's pretty much all there's left to do. Flowtimer will beep again. Unfortunately, it doesn't go into a countdown mode like EonTimer does, but what can you do? You just go to the legend, get there as fast as you can, and you wait until you hit the start button. Now, for the legends, I usually leave the calibrated delay box checked off. Like it's checked. You can leave it checked off. It's really up to you. Honestly, it doesn't matter either way. You're going to be doing your own like calibration, but I usually leave it checked. And so once you get to here, you just wait until your timer counts you down. Now, to explain a little bit of the process, all you're going to do is catch it at this point. When the timer ends, hit the start button, or the A button to do the encounter, and just catch your boy, which is why I recommend having a Master Ball. And once it's caught, what you're going to want to do is calculate its stats again and stuff like that. So like I said, just have Master Balls. Gen 6 has like a, if you don't have if you have like a second DS to trade with, there's like a pretty easy cloning glitch in Gen 6. So you can like put an item on stuff and turn off at the specific point of the trade, so you can get multiple like Master Balls and whatnot like that. Now at this point, what you're going to want to do is go back to the legendary you searched for. So like I'm in the stationary RNG section under Unova Legendary for Landorus. I don't have a synchronizer. I set it as target frame, and you're just going to type in its stats. I forgot that you couldn't bring up the menu while you were up here. So you just have to land to a spot or whatever. And just click the using stats box and type in the Landorus' stats that you got. And that'll show you how far off from the frame you were. And it's pretty nice because the stats are usually like able to be, you don't even click the nature or anything. And this is also like a nice secondary way to confirm which initial seed that you've hit. So once I do that, type it in, hit the calculate button, bingo bongo. I'm around 511 frames late. And I double check to make sure the nature matches. Now, when you're late, all that means is the next time I'm going to subtract 511 frames from my target frame. That's all that means. So I just woke up after a long night of sleep. And I know what you're thinking. Why is this particularly relevant to what you're saying to me? Well, here's the thing. The initial seed in this game is based off of date and time, okay? And you're keeping track of it very precariously, I'd say. And you're just kind of guessing or figuring out which is the most recent seed that you've hit. And when you're doing attempts over and over and resetting over and over immediately, it's pretty much always going to be the first seed that the program finds. However, after you take an extended break, I would say probably even more than 20 or 30 minutes, it's highly recommended to use both archons again to re-verify your initial seed. So that's what I'm doing. I've taken, 8-hour break between attempts roughly, probably a little bit less than that for my sleep, and I have to receive 2 archons again, and I have to do what I did probably, 5 or 6 minutes earlier in this video, where I received 2 archons back to back, or 2 of whichever fossil of your choosing, back to back, and then I have to calculate the initial seed using these guys. And so it's the same exact process as before, where I take 1 archon and I figure out its stats. I like to do exactly, but you don't have to. And then you type the stats of the other archon into the second 3DS RNG tool. And so make sure to put its nature there, and I'll do this I'll cut a bunch of it out, but I'll still do some explaining. So once these stats are calculated and you put it into the program, you can just click the search button. And I would search between pretty much the biggest range it will let you search for, and wait until a bunch of seeds pop up. But while the seeds are popping up, what you can do is click fossils, click Archon, or whichever fossil you're aiming for, and type in its stats of the second Archon exactly. Now, I got lucky in that I got a female Archon, and because of their 7-to-1 gender ratio, it's actually pretty easy to... not easy, but it's like a nice identifier to make sure you've got the proper seed. And so while I'm looking for new seeds, what I'm going to be doing is typing in the stats here of the other Archon, just to, like, you know, save time and stuff like that. I also do recommend unchecking consider delay. Pretty important step there. So once your initial seeds are all popped up, you're just going to start guessing them. What I also like to do here, actually as a quick bonus, is to type the IVs of the first Archon in. This is actually helpful to be able to verify that both Archons are on the same seed. So I'm just typing it's like the IVs I calculated into the second 3DS RNG tool here, just to make sure that I've got everything correct there. And you could type the IV range as you've done in the other one, in like the upper lower section. And so now what we do is we just grab initial seeds. So I'll click this one right here, and I just copy paste it into this 3DS RNG tool, and I calculate. So I find the first Archon using the IVs, and then what I would do is click using stats to see if the second Archon pops up. And it doesn't, so move right along to another seed. Go for this one, and I like to go for the ones in the 700s because I pretty much never get the first Archon outside of the 700s. So as we can see, this one I immediately disregard because my Archon is female. Which is nice, again, why I said it's nice to have a female gender ratio. So once you find what you are pretty sure is your initial seed, you can redo attempts again. So I'll paste mine here, calculate, bada bing, bada boom, show that I have both of them here, and since I've got that, I can confidently go and reset and do another attempt. So honestly, at this point, you should be pretty familiar with all of the principles and all of the things you need to know about this type of RNG. Once you found your initial seed, after doing the mini calibration, after you sleep or go to school or whatever, you can just do attempts over and over again as you had done previously. I thought that was an important step to document, and it's important to know that you can't take too long of a break. So like I said, I did that calibration after I went to bed and I woke up, right, with the two Archons again. And I'm just doing my normal initial seed finding here, and then doing a Landorus attempt. But you can't wait too long. If you wait too long, if you wait like 20, 30, 40 hours, you're going to lose where your initial seed is, and you're not going to be able to... The program only lets you search within a specific range of initial seeds, so you're going to lose your calibration. So you have to do one attempt like every 8 hours, like a maximum, I would say. Like, I would not wait longer than 8 hours. So I would only do this if you have like a large commitment of time to be able to do this type of RNG. At this point, it's just doing attempts, finding your seeds, calculating how far off your frames are, and going for it over and over again. So my whole process calculating was over for that part. When the timer runs out, you just do your thing and catch your Lando. Hopefully it's shiny. Hopefully you get it. But if you're not successful, you just have to keep checking and keep doing adjustments over and over and over and over and over again. It's extremely tedious, especially because each initial seed or each calibration takes an extremely long amount of time. But if you really like Gen 6, or if you're really looking for a specific stat spread or a Pokemon or what have you, it can be worth it and rewarding to be able to do this. So let's see how far off... Wow. How far off I was this time. So it's probably looking like I was close. I've been getting closer each attempt now. And it's only a matter of time before I'm going to be hitting the Landorus I want. So let's see how far off I was.
It's nice you just can calculate using stats. It's a really quick attempt. And it's the nice thing about the using stats box as well is your Landorus is going to have like usually very similar stats multiple times, so you can just adjust usually minimally, like with the up and down arrows like this, which is a nice thing, I think. Set a starter frame, calculate. Alright, I was 16, 17, or 18 early. I like to take the average of it, or the mean, usually, the median of it usually, and instead I will be aiming, I will add 15, because I was a little bit early. If you're early, you add. If you're late, you subtract from your target frame, and now I have the new amount to add to my target frame, and I'll see you on my next attempt. And actually, my next attempt is going to be the one I got on my live stream. You guys are just going to see my full live attempt there. So, hope you enjoy. Where I would get the Clefairy and use it to determine my initial seed. It's like that, but much worse. Because you can't take too many breaks, really. Oh, Lopez still didn't activate? I was wondering about it. Thanks, Green Darkness. Appreciate it, my guy. Blisy, do I love you? I love all my viewers, and I love my channel members more than everyone else. So, yes. Okay. What's your nature, buddy? Calc. Oh, no, the nature's wrong. Frick. It's relaxed. It'll crash after this, by the way. So I'll have to get my initial seed, definitely get it right, and then it'll crash. If I have to redo the search, it will crash every single time after that. It's definitely neither of these. I'm expecting like 1F7 or 1F8. It could be 1F69, I guess. Here, we can actually do a little mini check here, because since Archon is so rarely female, what I can do is switch to fossils while it's probably being laggy as fuck.
I'll fight you today, it's Arkin.
Oh, it's Archon?
Like archaeology.
Oh. Thank you. Yeah, I have water in here. This one's not definitely, but probably it. It would be frame, what's 769 plus 60 is like 820 something. It's better to just look up its IVs. No, I don't want to do this. You know, it's super safe to assume it's this. But I gotta do it. Hopefully it's not lagging too bad. Wow, no lag, really? This like lags my computer usually when I do it. So 769 plus 60 is... it's like 820 or something. I'm not very good at math. What's your nature? Relaxed? I'm close to it. Nope. But no, plus 60 is way higher than that, right? I just gotta do the math. Budget. 769 plus 60. Oh, I did consider delay, that's why. That's why it wasn't working. I can't do consider delay when I check it. I don't really understand the specifics of why. It's a girl. Okay, this is it. So this is the right seed. And it crashed, as I told you it would.
It does it every single time. 100% of the time it'll crash there. Alright, it's fine. We can still get Lando, because I still have the other one open. Shiny only. I do want to do consider delay. How much time have I? I'm over 5 minutes. I'm at 3. Can I get this one? I'm going to go for this one. Plus 27. No, this is too hard to make, fudge. I'll go for the 9-minute one. I have to. Minus 476. Yeah, it was okay. So 476 plus 32544. I took too long that time because I was uncertain if it was the proper seed or not. 33020. And away we go. And the camera got that. And I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever get this Lando, honestly. I just got it. Are you fucking... I did it, motherfuckers, yo! This is the hardest RNG I ever done. I can't believe I got this in like 5 tries on stream. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, guys? I thought this was another Zapdos. I thought this was going to be another 2 weeks. I'm the best. What else do I have to say about this? Are you kidding me? This is for real? Oh my god. Take a print screen of that, baby. Where's paint? I always put it in. So this is the Lando I ended up receiving. It was tedious, probably a waste of my time, but here it is. Now, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Remember, I'm going to leave you guys with a few like little things at the end just to really, really drive home what's up with this type of RNG. One, you can only hit even or odd frames based, and you just know that like when you receive the Archon or whichever fossil you're aiming for, you check if it's even or odd, and then you aim according to that. You can't save at all during the entire process. I know I said that before, but I'm saying it again. During the entire process, you cannot save, or else it will completely screw your initial seed up, and you'll have to do the whole 4-hour seed finding process over again. And last but not least, you know, if you want to do this, do it. And if you have any questions, leave them down below. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope nobody tries it, but if you do, share it with me. Post it on Twitter. Post it on in the comments below. Post it on Discord. I'm happy to see. Good luck, everybody, and I'll see you next time. I just want to thank my channel members so much. You guys are amazing. Without this kind of support, I wouldn't be able to put out the videos I do, and I wouldn't be able to stream as frequently. Thanks so much. If you want to consider becoming a member, just click the join button underneath this video or at my channel page. It's only $4.99 a month. It really helps me out. I'm extremely uncomfortable doing these kinds of plugs, but I'm doing it anyway because the money helps. And if you can't or don't want to, don't feel bad. I'm just asking because, yeah. Thanks so much, guys. You're all amazing. See you next video.